following review is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers. This is the Tiafangi coming to you with a review of a Transformers figure I've been wanting to review for several weeks now, and I finally have the time to do it, so hopefully I can get it completed, because today we're going to be taking a look at one of the Transformers figures from the Legacy line that I was the most anticipated to get added to my Transformers collection, and it is Transformers Legacy Voyager class Beast Wars Inferno. So yes, here is Inferno in all of his splendor and glory. Or he's a brand new mold, and he is... What makes this figure special is that Inferno is the last character who appeared in the first season of Transformers Beast Wars who's been given a modern-day Transformers action figure. There ended up being a grand total of 14 Transformers Beast Wars characters to appear in Season 1 of the Transformers Beast Wars cartoon, and Inferno, I believe not only he was the last one to actually appear in Season 1 of Transformers Beast Wars, but he was the last one to be given a modern-day action figure. We got all 7 of the Heroic Maximals in the Kingdom line. We got 5 of the 7 Predacons who appeared in Season 1 of Beast Wars and also in the Kingdom line back in 2021. And so last year, in 2022, we got the last 2 Season 1 Predacons released in Legacy Year 1. The first was Deluxe Class Tarantulas, who was released in Wave 2 of the Legacy line, and then we got Beast Wars Inferno in Wave 3 of Legacy Year 1. And so it's a thrill to finally have Inferno here, because he not only completes the cast of the Transformers Beast Wars Season 1 Predacons, but he also completes the Season 1 cast of the entirety of Transformers Beast Wars. Yeah, here's Inferno inside his box. You got some nice artwork here of him in his ant mode, and unfortunately, just like the box art on the front of the box, the only way to store Inferno's weapon of his flame thrower when he's transformed into beast mode is to just place it on the top of him when he's transformed into an ant. There are a few third-party upgrade kits out there that do give you proper storage for Inferno's flamethrower or when he's transformed into ant mode, but I haven't found any of them at a reasonable price. I'm not going to let my OCD get over him having a cannon in when he's transformed into ant mode, especially considering that Kingdom Tigertron has his laser gun sitting on his underbelly when he's in Tiger mode. But yeah, there's some nice artwork of Inferno in his ant mode. On this side, you got the Decepticon on the side of the Legacy Year 1 poster. On this side of the box, you got some nice artwork of Beast Wars Inferno in his robot mode. Oh, there's his face and his robot mode. He's charging into battle against the Maximals. And just like in the Beast Wars cartoon show, Beast Wars Inferno, Legacy Beast Wars Inferno, he does have the gimmick where you can open up his jaw and have him yelling, because that's what he did a lot in the Beast Wars cartoon. So it made Beast Wars Inferno unique not only as an individual Transformers character, but also amongst the other Beast Wars Transformers characters, is that when he was activated and he came online, there was a malfunction with his cranial capacitor. I think that's what they called it in Beast Wars. But anyways, to put it bluntly, Inferno's brain was messed up when he first came online and was created, and he ended up believing that he was an actual fire ant. And whenever he would charge into battle, Inferno would always shout, "For the glory of the royalty! Inferno, terrorize!" And so he would always open up his mouth and shout. Sometimes he would open up his mouth and scream. It was more like a high-pitched screech than an actual scream, but you can mimic that because Inferno has one of the few characters from Beast Wars, and I believe the only action figure of the Season 1 Beast Wars modern-day action figures where he has an opening jaw on his robot mode head. So that's a nice feature there. You can see there's an image of him with his mouth open, and there's again his image of his ant mode. He transforms back and forth from robot mode to fire ant in just 26 steps. And overall, Inferno is a pretty fantastic looking action figure, and I do enjoy how accurate he is to his animation model from the Beast Wars cartoon. One thing that Hasbro and Takara Tomy did to change how Beast Wars Inferno transforms compared to his original Beast Wars action figure. The original Beast Wars Inferno, the way he transformed, his ant mode legs hung off of the arms and legs of his robot mode, and when you transformed the original Beast Wars Inferno action figure into ant mode, the ant legs couldn't support the weight of the action figure, and so what Hasbro and Tomy did is they acknowledged the fact that the legs used to stick off of Inferno's robot mode shins by making faux ones here hanging off the front of his shins in robot mode. And then the actual ant legs just dangle off of Inferno's arms. It's similar to how the legs dangle off the arms and legs of Waspinator when he's in robot mode. And that, unfortunately, from all the reviews I've already seen and what collectors have said about Legacy Beast Wars Inferno, that is the make it or break it deal. Is if you enjoy the ant mode legs just hanging off of Inferno's arms when he's transformed into robot mode, if you don't like them, then that's the break it deal for not getting him, and if you don't mind it, then that's the make it deal and you actually adding him to your collection. I personally don't care about where the ant mode legs are. I'm just thrilled to finally have an action figure of Beast Wars Inferno in my Transformers collection. I enjoyed watching Inferno when he appeared in the Beast Wars cartoon. And one of my favorite lines is when another Beast Wars character who hasn't gotten a modern day action figure yet of the Predacon Quick Strike, when he comes online, he tries to poison Inferno, and Inferno laughingly tells him, "Pain is my friend. Allow me to introduce it to you." So yeah, Inferno is as psychotic as Transformers characters can come. So without further delay, let's finally get Inferno out of his box and take a close look at him in robot mode. Alright, and so at long last, here is Inferno out of his robot mode, out of his box, transformed into robot mode, and I am really impressed with how he turned out. He's got some very impressive light piping, although it shines the back of his mouth more than his eyes does. And overall, I am just really thrilled with how Beast Wars Inferno turned out. I can see why some people say that where the ant legs end up positioned can be a bit of a pain. And since they all end up, depending on how you have them positioned on his arms, they can get in the way a little bit, but I don't care because I'm just thrilled to finally have an action figure of Beast Wars Inferno in my collection, and overall I'm really impressed with how huge and bulky he is. Inferno is pretty huge by the standards of Voyager class Transformers figures, and I thought he'd be on the smaller side, similar to Kingdom Optimus Primal, but he's alongside Kingdom Tigertron and Dinobot and Rhinox in being one of the taller Voyager-class Transformers figures. I do love that, just like his original Beast Wars action figure, you do have the spinning gimmick where the abdomen of Inferno's ant mode opens up and becomes almost like a fan, like a propeller fan that allows him to fly around. On the original Beast Wars Inferno action figure, there was a button here on his back right behind his robot mode head, and so you'd push that button and the spinning gimmick was automatic. Here on the Legacy figure, it's manual, so you have to do it yourself. But I'm really thrilled with how it turned out, and I love the metallic blue they used on the inside of the fan blades here on the back of Inferno. And you can, just like his original Beast Wars action figure, you can take his flamethrower out of his hand, and you can place it here in the back. It is shaped so that you see this little curved grooved opening space on the back. It's designed to go over the hinge here on the bottom, so if you want to, you can have the spinning flamethrower action if you desire to see that on Inferno. But yeah, overall, I'm really thrilled with him. And again, he has the gimmick of the opening mouth. It can open up and down. It snaps in place, but fresh out of the box, I don't know how you guys can see that, but yeah, the opening jaw gimmick to mimic where he yells and screams a lot. That's a nice gimmick to give Inferno, and I just really dig how his head sculpt turned out. Here's a close-up of it. That is very accurate to his animation model from the Beast Wars cartoon. And overall, I don't care what the critics say. The new Legacy figure has the original Beast Wars Inferno action figure that was released in 1996 beat out. This is the quintessential Beast Wars Inferno to have in your Transformers collection. And so for a quick size comparison in robot mode, here is Beast Wars Inferno next to Transformers Generation 1 Inferno. So when it was announced back in 2021 that a Voyager class action figure of Inferno was being released in the Kingdom line, a lot of Beast Wars fans were hoping that it would be Beast Wars Inferno, but Generation 1 fans and Beast Wars fans alike were surprised when it was announced that it was Generation 1 Inferno being released in the Kingdom line as a repaint and retool of Earthrise Grapple. I personally didn't mind getting Generation 1 Inferno in the Kingdom line, since it was easier to just take an existing mold and repaint it into another character rather than having to design an entirely brand new mold from scratch. And yes, on that note, I can say with all honesty and 100% certainty that Legacy Beast Wars Inferno is an entirely brand new mold. There are very few, very vague similarities to how he transforms compared to Kingdom Deluxe class Waspinator, but it's the same as comparing Deluxe class Kingdom Cheetor with Kingdom Voyager class Tigertron. Basically apples to oranges, where they have similar transformations, but the molds are completely different and unrelated to each other. But yeah, here's Beast Wars Inferno next to Generation 1 Inferno. Like so many other characters released in the Beast Wars line, including Beast Wars Megatron and Beast Wars Scorponok, Inferno was one of the Transformers characters where, in order to maintain the registered trademark to the name aimed to use in the Transformers franchise, Hasbro took a name from a Generation 1 character and applied it to a Beast Wars character. And so, just like Megatron and Scorponok, to name some other examples, Inferno is a name used on completely different characters from Transformers Generation 1 and Transformers Beast Wars. So far, the only interaction we've gotten with characters from G1 and Beast Wars that have the exact same name is when Generation 1 Megatron and Beast Wars Megatron meet each other in the Transformers Kingdom cartoon series that was released on Netflix. A lot of fans and collectors said they would have enjoyed seeing Beast Wars Scorponok, G1 Scorponok, and also Beast Wars Inferno and G1 Inferno interact with each other, especially these two here, because as G1 Inferno is a heroic Autobot and Beast Wars Inferno is an evil Predacon. It's very hard to tell, as is the case with most of the Beast Wars figures we got in the Kingdom line, but Inferno's Predacon symbol is right here on the right side shoulder of his robot mode, and because it's purple paint applied to the surface of metallic blue paint that's been applied on the top of red plastic, it blends into it, and so the Predacon symbol, unless you know where it is, then you're going to miss it, and it'll look like from a distance that Beast Wars Inferno doesn't have a faction symbol on him. One thing I did when the Kingdom figures were being released back in 2021 is I gave the Beast Wars characters, I modified their names so they could be different. I've been calling Beast Wars Megatron Megatronosaurus. I've been calling Beast Wars Scorponok Scorponox, and with his name ending in the letter X instead of the letter K. And I've been calling Beast Wars Inferno Infernant, and just to distinguish him from G1 Inferno and to make him a further distinguished character. But yeah, overall, I'm thrilled with how Inferno came out. I don't care about the ant legs dangling off his arms. I still think he's an incredible Transformers action figure. For articulation, the head is on a ball joint, and even with his mouth open, he can look up very well. He can't really look down even when his jaw is closed. He can rotate left and right, but you do have to have his jaw closed to do those to achieve the left and right motion. The arms have the potential to spin clockwise and counterclockwise at the shoulder 360 degrees, but again, it's hindered by the ant legs. Same thing with the bicep. It has the potential to spin in 360 degrees at the bicep if I can get the shoulder joint to stand still. But unfortunately, it's hindered by the ant legs once again. It's got double hinge jointed elbows in robot mode, but I believe one of the hinges is a transformation joint. He has wrist swivels, so his hands can spin at the wrist 360 degrees, clockwise and counterclockwise. He does surprisingly have a waist articulation, but in order for the waist to achieve full rotation, you have to get the ant legs and also the fan and blades from his for lack of better grammar, butt propeller out of the way to do that. The legs are on universal joints, so they can go forward this far. They have the potential to go back this far, but again, if you don't move that fan blade out of the way, it's gonna smack into it. He has swivel joints in the thighs, so the legs can spin 360 degrees. He's at that joint. Very strong hinge joints in the knee, and they almost snap in place. I don't know if that's just because it's fresh out of the box or if it'll wear down or not. No rotating joints at the ankles, but you do have a ankle rocker, so you can get Inferno into a sorry for covering his face there, but you can get him into a sprawl-legged pose if you desire. And the feet can hinge up and down ever so slightly at the toes, but I believe that's a transformation joint. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've watched any reviews of Inferno on YouTube. But I am just super excited and thrilled to finally have an action figure of this guy in my collection. I cannot get over how impressive looking Inferno came out. I am just ecstatic to finally have him here. And part of the reason why I'm ecstatic to finally have Beast Wars Inferno here is not only because is he a pretty impressive character from Transformers Beast Wars, but again, as I said at the beginning of the video, he is the final Season 1 character from Transformers Beast Wars to be given a modern-day Transformers action figure. Alright, and hopefully my microphone's picking up my voice, and hopefully you can see them all. I apologize if I don't have them all fully on screenshot, but this is one of the reasons why I was excited to get Beast Wars Inferno and add him to my Transformers collection, is that with Inferno's release, we now have modern-day action figures of all 7 of the Predacons featured in Season 1 of Transformers Beast Wars, and it's beyond fantastic thrill seeing all 7 of them. I'm standing here and having the Predacon team finally complete. From the Kingdom line, we got Beast Wars Megatron, Black Arachnia, Waspinator, Beast Wars Scorponok, Pterosaur, who actually came with the golden disc that Megatron's holding here in his hand. And then it took another year, but we finally got in the Legacy line Tarantulas, and at last Beast Wars Inferno. So yeah, I am thrilled to see Inferno's finally here united and standing beside his Predacon teammates. And these are the villains that made Transformers Beast Wars one of the most successful Transformers series of all time. And again, I am just thrilled to finally have all 7 of them. I'm here and seeing them all standing beside each other in the robot modes. And yes, it was worth the wait for Inferno to finally get this group shot of all 7 of the Beast Wars Season 1 Predacons united and fighting against the Maximals. And speaking of the Maximals, here they are. Here's the entire cast of Season 1 of Transformers Beast Wars. We've got, with Inferno's release in the Legacy line, we now have all 4 modern-day action figures of all 14 of the Season 1 characters from Transformers Beast Wars, the evil Predacons, and the heroic Maximals. And there's so many of them, I apologize for not being able to get them all on full view. I had to move my camera really far back to get them all on screen. But yeah, here's what I've been jokingly telling myself is the $1 million shot, where you have all 14 of the modern-day action figures of the Season 1 Beast Wars Transformers characters standing beside each other, and we have, of course, they're all fighting over control of the Golden Disc, and that was the main artifact that led to the events of Transformers Beast Wars. I placed Dinobot among the Maximals to have the number of Maximals and Predacons evened out. But yeah, it's thrilling to see all of them standing here united with each other. For those of you with a keen eye, notice I have Generations Rhinox here because I think that's the superior Rhinox figure compared to the Kingdom one. But yeah, I am just thrilled with Beast Wars Inferno's release that we now have the Season 1 cast of Transformers Beast Wars complete, not just the Maximals, but the Predacons as well. So without further delay, let's get Inferno transformed into his Ant mode, and we will wrap up the review. Alright, so here is Inferno transformed into his Ant mode, and I have to say it is a pretty impressive looking fire ant, all things considered and where all the parts went. Inferno achieves being a robot in disguise best if you look at him in Ant mode from above, because there's no robot mode parts exposed. Underneath there's robot parts everywhere, but that's typical of most Transformers action figures. But overall, I do enjoy how it came out. A lot of collectors, and myself included, have said that because of the way his ant eyes are shaped, it makes him look deceptively kind of cute in ant mode. But then, if you look at how tiny a fire ant is from a distance, it, at first glance, might look like a cute animal, but it is not. I've been fortunate enough that I have never been bitten by a fire ant, but I have been bitten by common black ants, and even getting bitten by a common black ant is no fun at all. It's extremely painful when you're bitten by ants, regardless of what species they are. And I just find it very appropriate that they decided to make a fire ant an evil Transformers character. And unfortunately, there is no way of tabbing Inferno's flamethrower weapon from robot mode except just placing it up here on his back. You could, I suppose, if you wanted, have it facing backwards, backwards if you wanted, but you can't insert all the way because the abdomen gets in the way, so just insert it for now. So unfortunately, with his weapon attached, Inferno is a fire ant with a flamethrower on top of its back. But I do think that it does do a very good job of making Inferno a robot in disguise for being a fire ant. The mandibles do open and close. Oh, so you do have that play factor of the mandibles opening and shutting, and also the ant antenna. They can move up and down, and you move their antenna up and down to touch and feel things that are in front of them. When you have Inferno transformed into robot mode, the ant antenna are flipped all the way back, so in ant mode, ideally you have them flipped all the way forward, so Inferno's feeling what's in front of him when he's in ant mode. And the ant eyes are made out of clear air plastic. My camera's not picking it up that well, but it is clear plastic, just like the flamethrower is made entirely out of clear red plastic. On the original Generation 1 Inferno action figure, his flamethrower ended up sitting inside the abdomen of ant mode, but the way the new Legacy Inferno figure transforms, the inside of the abdomen is where his robot mode legs go. On the original Beast Wars Inferno, you just left his robot mode legs folded out, and the ant legs just folded out of them, so this new transformation for Beast Wars Inferno, I wholeheartedly enjoy it. I don't care about the ant legs just ending up being kibble in robot mode and having to his flamethrower ending up on his back in ant mode. If having to hide the flamethrower and having ant leg kibble in robot mode was sacrificed in favor of him being more of a robot in disguise, I think it was a smart decision on the part of the designers from Hasbro and Takara Tomy. So for a quick size comparison, here is Legacy Beast Wars Inferno next to, once again, to Kingdom Generation 1 Inferno. As you can see, you have a fire truck versus a fire ant. You have a heroic man-made vehicle versus a annoying, evil creature that brings about pain to humans if you touch it. Everyone who's interacted with fire ants, who's been close to fire ants, and has unfortunately been bitten by fire ants, everyone has the same thing to say about fire ants. They are a complete nuisance and a menace. And so I find it very appropriate that Beast Wars Inferno has a fire ant for his beast mode. Alright, and I apologize for not quite being able to get them all on full camera, but here is Inferno surrounded by his fellow Season 1 Predacons. Here he is next to Beast Wars Megatron, Waspinator, Scorponok, Pterosaur, Black Arachnia, and Tarantulas. So again, with the release of Inferno in the Transformers Legacy line, we now have all of the Beast Wars Season 1 Predacons that have been given modern-day action figures, and it's really thrilling to see them all here standing beside each other. And once again, here are the Beast Wars Season 1 Predacons standing opposite the Beast Wars Season 1 Maximals. And it's thrilling to finally have modern-day action figures of all 14 of these Transformers characters. The closest I had to prior action figures of these were some of the previous figures released in the Generations and Universe Classics lines, such as Generations Rhinox here. But yes, I am thrilled that with the release of Beast Wars Inferno in the Legacy line, that we now have all 14 Transformers Beast Wars Season 1 characters. As far as other characters from Seasons 2 and 3 of Transformers Beast Wars being given modern-day figures, we got Transmutate in the Kingdom line, we had Optimal Optimus in the Power of the Primes line back in 2018. It's rumored that we're going to get Silverbolt, Tigerhawk, and possibly Depth Charge in the Generation Selects line. There was an image of a prototype of a Depth Charge action figure, but and then, of course, last year in the Legacy line, we also got the Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron figure, which I'm hoping to review soon. But for the Season 1 cast of Beast Wars, Hasbro and Takara Tomy have done it. They've finally made modern-day action figures of all 14 characters, and it's thrilling to see them all here standing beside each other, and I am just really enjoying seeing them all standing beside each other. There was unfortunately one casualty in the process of transforming all 14 of these figures for the size comparisons. I accidentally snapped off one of Black Arachnia's fingers. You can see there I put some scotch tape on there right now. I'm debating with myself if I should try and find a replacement figure just to replace that one part, or if I should try and find super glue instead. But apart from that, it was a fun transforming all these characters and action figures and seeing them standing side by side each other. And overall, I do enjoy seeing them all standing here together. So to end the review for the proverbial question, do I recommend you get Transformers Legacy Beast Wars Inferno and add him to your Transformers collection? I absolutely do. As a standalone figure, this is a fantastic version of Beast Wars Inferno. Beast Wars Inferno is somewhat unique, even though he shares his name with Generation 1 Beast Wars Inferno is somewhat unique because, as far as I'm aware, he's the only Transformers character that has a fire ant for beast mode. And seeing him standing beside the other Transformers figures here, he is pretty easy, pretty fun to have. He's somewhat difficult to transform when you're doing it for the first time, but once you have it memorized, you realize that it is a neat transformation, and compared to the sizes of the other Transformers action figures here in the Beast Wars group, Inferno is one of the larger Transformers figures here standing amongst these guys. I think he might be tied with Rhinox, Generations Rhinox, in being the second largest action figure amongst these 14 figures here. The largest, of course, being Beast Wars Megatron. But yeah, Legacy Beast Wars Inferno, he's one of the larger sized Voyager-class Transformers to be released in the Legacy line and released within the last few years. I'm amazed at how enormous he was. I thought maybe he might be closer in size to maybe Optimus Primal or Tigatron, or maybe even Dinobot, but he's slightly larger than each of them. Are so you really do get your bang for your buck when you get it Legacy Beast Wars Inferno. Thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFN and Geek. Thank you so much. This has been my review of Transformers Legacy Beast Wars Inferno. I highly recommend you get this figure if you haven't gotten him already. Eddie, it's fantastic seeing him standing here amongst all the other Season 1 Beast Wars or his Transformers figures we've got out in the Legacy and Kingdom lines. And even if you don't have all 14 of the Season 1 Beast Wars characters, as a standalone action figure, Inferno is still pretty impressive to have in your collection. So thank you guys all so much, and until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.